Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Saturday morning live stream. My name is Brittany, and here is Miss Pippa. She decided she wanted to cuddle with me this morning while we started the podcast. Hopefully, you guys can hear me. And so here we go. So we have had obviously a lot of real news and some that just broke this morning that apparently Harry and Meghan were on the tarmac with a fraudster who swindled people out of like $20 million. Which is, yeah, kind of interesting. And we just had the continual Harry looking, when I was looking for pictures for the Nigeria trip, I couldn't help but notice that Harry looked pretty miserable a lot of the time. So you just got to wonder what is really going on behind the scenes. We obviously have Charles and William together as Charles hands over his position as Colonel in Chief of the Army Air Corps to Prince William, which was so sweet to see them continue to do that. We obviously had the state visit between Denmark and Norway, which seemed to be a very relaxed affair, although we did get a new tiara, and I am behind on Tiara Tuesdays. Because, guys, last week I ended up being able to travel to California to a YouTube event, which was very, very fun. So poor Miss Pippa, she missed out on her mama for a little bit, but she should be a happy girl now. And so we just got lots of other royal news. It was Norway's Constitution Day and just so much going on. So we have just real quick, Lisa Schroeder, who's been a member for 9 months. Good morning from sunny Carroll, Iowa. Good morning. I hope all is going well. We have John Masood. Thank you so much, John. Grifters got a grift, Brittany. Love your show. I thank you so much. We really do appreciate that. And oh, yes. Thank you, Miss Pippa. So let's go ahead and get into the questions. All right, we may have to put you down. Keep looking in my mouth. Okay. She enjoys giving kisses, which is so cute, but oftentimes it's like, I can't talk and let her kiss me at the same time. All right, so let's begin. We have Cascal, but the 9th Earl Spencer can't find any rooms to let in Althrop. So I don't know how that started, but yeah, that is interesting that Harry wouldn't stay there because he's so close to the Earl Spencer, even though Earl Spencer was apparently one of the people who warned Harry against marrying Meghan. So I don't know what all, obviously the Spencers went to the Invictus service, and which was, nice to support Harry because obviously the royals had like big people jobs to do. And yeah, but I think there's still not a ton of love sometimes between the Spencer clan and the rest of the royals. So we have Cascal Air Peace Airlines, used by the Earl and Countess of Dumbarton for internal travels within Nigeria, is run by a CEO who's fugitive from the USA. Where's the wanted poster? Have you seen this man? Yes, again, very, very funny. Very, very funny. And again, it just goes to kind of the series of blunders that is Harry and Meghan and Archewell overall, because Archewell obviously as well apparently did not file its taxes filed its paperwork or whatever for its charity on time in the state of California, so much so that the governor of California, for no explicable reason whatsoever, decided to come out and defend them for really no reason, in the process throwing himself, his state, his ability to manage, and his attorney general under the bus. Like, if you're running a political campaign against Gavin Newsom, that's what you would pull up. Gavin Newsom, concerned about Harry and Meghan, not concerned about you or how he manages the state. He's more interested in protecting two people, private individuals with their own money, rather than helping the state of California. That's literally what he did. So that was kind of hysterical. But yes, it's something that they should have and could have probably easily avoided if people had done some research. So Azuma says, I missed the members live. As I said, it was 22nd. Oh, sorry. Might have been confusing. Did I do I maybe had done, I kind of got off because I'd done a whole, maybe I did do a calendar and I kind of forgot. I get off and I forget sometimes. So yes. Yeah. So sorry about that, but we will have probably another one here coming up pretty soon. We do them every other week, but I want to do one with everyone. But since I was traveling, I was kind of off. So Azuma says, love William and Charles bonding. Yes. So sweet. Azuma says, did Peter Phillips get a new girlfriend? He did. Apparently he broke up with his other one he's had for about a couple years now and is, moved on to somebody else. But his ex-wife, Autumn, has also moved on with somebody else. And it was super sweet to see. She was at the golf tournament with Zara and Mike Tyndall, which I was really excited about because I felt so bad for her because she had been married into for a long time. She had the Queen's first great grandchild. And as far as I'm aware, She was not at any of the funeral services. And yes, I know they're divorced, but she's still technically family. She still technically is the mother of two of the queen's great grandchildren. Like, I don't know, maybe she didn't go, but I really hope she had an opportunity to go because I think she was quite close with the queen. And I think it's almost kind of cruel that she didn't go. And yeah, Harry and Meghan got to go, especially Meghan, who just seems to did not spend any time with the queen except for very briefly and seemed to show such utter disrespect for the queen, the institution, and everything. Don says Harry and his wife are weird and disgrace all Brits and Americans. Long may they go away. Yes, yes. It's kind of funny to see the Sussex stands are sort of like you could almost feel them more in attack mode because everybody is, obviously not liking Harry and Meghan. I was like, none of that's going away really because they're still at 25, 30% in favorability in the latest YouGov poll. I actually think they're both in the 20s. And so both of them, they're just not popular. They're just not. I don't think they're particularly popular in the US. I honestly, except for maybe in California or maybe New York, I haven't really met anybody who particularly likes them. And they're either ambivalent or they just don't like them. And so I think that's where Harry and Meghan stand with the vast majority of the public. So we have Kyle. Thank you so much for the tip. Harry wears a medal for killing people, whereas Prince William's medal for saving lives. Prince William deserves this honor. Yes, he does. Prince William, as an air ambulance pilot, was in very, I'm sure, scary and just, situations where he needed to be there to save lives and everything. And I'm sure he saw tragedy very much up close. I thought Harry's comments about killing soldiers in Afghanistan, it was so unnecessary. It almost felt like bragging. And it was just so he's like, well, I need to tell him because, the soldiers I needed Invictus, they need to know. It's like, it may be in a private conversation, but there's no real reason, unless you're a sniper and that's just part of what snipers do. There's just no reason for you to say, well, I killed X number of people. It's, as far as I'm aware from, the safety of a helicopter or something like that. It just seems so callous and removed and just so many things. It was just, I couldn't believe he did that. I still can't believe it, but hey, spare. Nah, it was the ship that truly sank them. All right, we have Letitia this morning. Good morning, everyone. Hi, Brittany and Miss Pippa. Let's talk about the Delinquent Charity. Oh boy, we're sinking. Yes, that's still confusing. I feel like Harry and Meghan had two stories about this. Number one, they lost it in the mail. Number two, oh no, it's all there. It's all taken care of. It's all fine. Don't look. That's kind of their strategy. And I'm like, I don't think that's true. So yes. Yeah, not well. Deandra, hi all from sunny South Africa. Hope everybody is safe and well. I hope you are well too. And looking forward to the Earthshot Prize coming your direction later this year. That's really, really exciting. There's like a part of me that wants to go, but it's so far. And yeah, but it would be so cool. Paula says, good afternoon from sunny Yorkshire. We got Lori. Yes, new girlfriend for 1 month. Paula says, apparently she is an NHS nurse. Well, that is lovely. Priyanka says, good morning, Brittany. I have been busy the last couple of weeks and missed live chat. Honestly, after looking at the faux royal tour, I missed the Prince and Princess of Wales. Yes. And I'm going to do a video on this. And I kind of wish I filmed the Crown Report. I'm going to get it finished editing. I'm really annoyed at this mic or my whole setup over here because it's just not working as well as it should. And I don't know why. I need to get either a sound engineer or there's something wrong, I think, either with the mic or the Rodecaster or something. And so I ordered a very simple thing because when I was traveling, I just did my little Rode Bluetooth microphones and they worked perfectly well with this. I had no problems with glitching or anything. I've had a lot of problems with this for a while and I'm very, very annoyed. So we're going to try something. I got to get the whole audio thing figured out. But yes, but all that to say is that I'm going to do a whole video on this because I think this is so important, is when I was talking to people, especially in LA, and they were, they kind of cursory knew about the royals. Some of them seemed more interested than others, and they just didn't know that much. And I think the thing that the royal family needs to be so cognizant of, that I think they're just hoping goes away, is that for the rest of the world, or at least in the United States, Harry and Meghan are setting the narrative about what royals do, especially because Charles is out, Catherine is out. So I think that's a very worthy topic to explore. Joyce says, Paula ride, yes, sunny in York's for a change. 2 loads of washing dried. Oh, that's nice. Oh, yeah, because you guys don't really have washers. don't really have washers. Sharon says, so glad to be back in the live chat. So glad to have you. We have Ian Williamson. Good morning, everyone from Arizona. We have Robin D. Good morning, everyone. We got Tanya and Ritz and Eyes of Texas and Gemstone Girl. We have Sean's Jules. Brittany, have you seen Queen Mary wear the pearl tiara in Norway? Yes. And I wanted to get to a Tiara Tuesday video on that, and I just couldn't get to it yet. And I was like busy doing all the, I need to figure out something better for the Crown Report, because I'm like, I so want to do it, but it's so time consuming because I have to take all the video, record all the video from various events and clip it all together in a way where I don't get a copyright strike. And it's kind of becoming overwhelming. So I got to figure it out. But yes, we will do a whole video on that. It'll probably be out on Tuesday, which is a week late. It is what it is. But she looked stunning. I loved that look. It was an amazing look. Lou Ann Sigure, SAR. Hello, everyone. You look elegant, Brittany. My cat, Johnny Potato, says hi to Miss Pippa watching from Saudi Arabia. Well, hello, Lou. Thank you so much for watching. I feel like my green on my shirt kind of matches the green of how your comment's showing up, which is awesome. But thank you so much for watching. I really do appreciate it and hope all is going well in your country. And we have Diz, a fan. The cringiest part of the royal tour was when they used HRH titles and played the national anthem, everything the late queen told them not to do. Yes, I think overall, it's part of them disregarding the Sandringham Summit. When we did the members only live stream, I had a couple of people asking and going, what about the Sandringham Summit? And I was like, yeah, they totally are disregarding that. They're like, do they think it's dead since the queen is gone? And I was like, I think they do, because that is definitely Meghan Markle logic. She's like, well, I made that deal with the queen. And again, this is why Charles needs to start playing hardball and stop playing softball. He's just playing so softball. It is so annoying because he needs to think of more than just like, again, there's the monarch, the sovereign half of him, and there's the father half of them. And sometimes you need to, it's kind of like running a business. Sometimes you need to make the business decisions, not the personal ones. And so, again, all right. Trina said, hi, Trina. How are you doing? Why did the Western press gush about this pseudo tour? Embarrassing, especially with the Sussex posters all over. Yeah, that was like the whole thing was almost creepy. You had the Sussex squad, the actual like Sussex squad there with like posters and saying it was just so weird in many ways. And I don't know, like somebody said they're really worried about Harry and Meghan suing them in the UK. And so they're gushing about it, which I find really odd. It's like, they don't really have anything to sue over. And I guess they're trying to play like both sides. I don't know. It's very frustrating though, because it's like, it was a wreck. It was a wreck. She looked awful most of the time, completely inappropriate. And it just didn't work. And it's just sort of, again, and it's just, what bothers me so much about it is what was the point of it for Nigeria? What did they get out of it? They got for some free publicity, but there were no aspects of the tour where they went to like tourist sites. Usually royals go to like tourist sites too, to kind of pump up and tell people, oh yes, go here to enjoy the country. Harry and Meghan didn't do that. And so Nigeria is probably not going to get a boost in tourism because of this. Like somebody wrote, it's like, oh, you should visit Nigeria. And I was like, well, Harry and Meghan aren't giving me any reason to. And so why would I? It's a longer flight. It's harder to get there. I mean, if you're in Europe, it's a bit easier. But from the United States, it ain't easy. And they are not going to get any trade agreements. The Invictus Games is not coming there. I don't care what the whole setup was. But it's like, I think, again, way too dangerous. A logistical nightmare to get there and everybody set up. So it's just not going to happen. So I'm like, Nigeria got nothing out of this. Harry and Meghan got everything out of this. This is just so annoyingly dumb. So anyways, and I feel like obviously the Archwell fiasco at the end, and now we have the fraudster as well. So I feel like that's all icing on the cake for something that's mostly there just to prop Harry and Meghan up. There was no depth to the tour, really. Because if it was really about, let's say, Meghan connecting with her heritage, shouldn't her mom be there too? But then her mom might take the attention away from her, so her mom didn't go. But it would this is a one time, it would kind of make sense for her mom to go, especially because it's a private tour. Again, none of it makes any sense. So anyways, thank you so much, Trina. I hope you are doing well. We got Robin here. We have Tanya. I think I got here. Okay, we got Taylor. Afternoon from Scotland. Hi, Brittany. First time on a live stream. Well, awesome. I'm so glad you can join. We got Betty as well from Oklahoma, Terry from Philadelphia. Got not participating, just observing. Morning all. Asma says, "Hey, everyone, I can't believe I missed some members live. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I guess I did. I'm so terrible sometimes at I try to keep things together and then sometimes the travel messes me up because I wasn't initially expecting to travel last week. So DS says, I wonder if King Charles not seeing Prince Harry and Harry not staying in a royal residence may have something to do with Harry not wanting to sign an NDA. Your thoughts? Well, I think part of it is okay. So here's a couple of things. So Harry asked, apparently, was offered a place, which again, royal family, they're open to him. But I think his issue was it wasn't the place he wanted. Like it might have been Buckingham Palace or Clarence House or something like that, where he'd be under a lot of supervision. Because here is my headcanon, you could say, or my theory. And I have a pretty good indication because usually my instincts are pretty good, is that this is right. Harry and Meghan were kicked out of Frogmore Cottage, not just because of Spare, but because they continually infringed on the privacy and security of others by sharing personal photos of Frogmore Cottage, of sharing personal details about Frogmore Cottage. So it left Frogmore Cottage and the whole Windsor estate and the whole royal system in general a bit more vulnerable because Harry and Meghan couldn't keep their mouths shut and couldn't keep themselves from taking photographers and film crews and everything. And so the royal family is like, okay, they can't have unfettered access to any royal estates anymore. So Frogmore Cottage got to go because we got to protect ourselves. And they are a huge security risk. They are risking everybody else's security by being difficult. And so their thought was, well, if Harry wants to come, great, but he will be under supervision, basically. They can come and they can stay at royal residences, but the royal family will determine what those residences are, when they can leave, when they can come, when they can go. And basically, I think they'll be surrounded essentially 24/7 pretty much by minders, you could say. That is the problem now Harry and Meghan have. And it's a problem, again, of their own creation. If they were in good standing, if they had not spilled all the beans, if they were trying to just go by Harry and Meghan Sussex, they would still have Frogmore Cottage. They don't have Frogmore Cottage because of the book, because of the Netflix series. All those sorts of things is why they don't have Frogmore Cottage anymore. It's the royal family could allow them, they could have a great standing and utilize that place as they wish, but they made that impossible for the royal family to do because this is not a royal family. So you can't just let Harry and Meghan, and invite Mason Harryman whenever they want to. Not that he's really a security risk, but Mason, maybe Netflix crews, different photographers, they're inviting all these people in that should not be in. And because of that, the royal family is like, okay, you're taking pictures at the private parts of the residence and publishing them to the whole world. And now it's causing us more headaches because we got to figure out, okay, they took the picture there. What could people figure out about X location? Again, just incredibly stupid decisions by Harry and Meghan have led to this point. So it could be an NDA. Could be an NDA. I 100% believe that could be. But I think it also is that he's not allowed to have unfettered access to a royal household. And I think he's probably in a place where he's like, I didn't really want that place. I wanted this place. And then Palace is like, no, you get this place or no place. This is it. You get basically put up with your father. You don't get this separate little corner of some place where you can do whatever you want. No. You're going to be so in the center that you can't move without everybody knowing what you're doing. And that's, again, the situation Harry and Meghan have created for themselves, is that the palace doesn't trust them. Nobody in the royal family trusts them. Nobody in the security, the staff, nobody trusts these people. So yes, they will be nice, but they're not necessarily stupid either. So they will put Harry and Meghan under all this protection. Not protection, surveillance. Not in a bad way, but again, it's like a kid, because you have to treat them like teenagers because they are teenagers. I realize I'm talking too long about this, but they are basically teenagers. They have a very, very low emotional maturity level. Both of them do. And so you have to treat them like teenagers. So if your teenager keeps sneaking out of the house at night, what do? You bolt the window shut, maybe, and you sit outside the room and you listen and you check multiple times a night. It's not quite what the palace is doing, but it's kind of that parental monitoring you have to do because your child cannot help themselves. And yeah, I hope that makes sense, but that's kind of meandering, but that's what I think. Okay. So we got Sugar Cookie, a member for 9 months. Thank you so much. And I don't know why sometimes it pulls out member comments and doesn't for other. I don't know. Because I know sometimes people ask me and I don't really know. I just have this system called StreamYard and I use it and different things go about. So it says, what about the 2 mothers that were arrested? They complained about the peach dress at the school. Ms. Rachel, the modern feminist, claims the mother country is a place where the female human rights are a force. Yes, I haven't heard about the arrest, about the dress. I don't know if I totally buy that, but yes, Meghan Markle's not a feminist. She's not a feminist because the whole reason she has the platform she does is because of a man. Because of a man. That is the platform she has. She hasn't done anything on her own. Like she did Suits minimally, but she might have gotten that role because of her former husband. She got some of her roles in Hollywood maybe because of her dad's reputation, not hers. And so this whole idea that she's, this self-made feminist woman. No, it's a farce. It's an absolute farce. Like J.K. Rowling is a feminist because she built something from nothing. She had no voice or role or anything. She wrote this book and managed to be a massive, massive global hit. And that is success to me. And that is a feminist, is somebody who can stand on their own without their husband in many ways, or who is not necessarily always relying on their husband. Yes, there are feminists who are married. That's not what I'm pointing. But the point is that Meghan is so antithetical to what she is trying to promote because she never fails. She never acknowledges that it's her husband, who is why anybody is paying any attention to her. She always thinks it's because of her. And it's like, no, honey, it's your husband. Nobody would care about you in the slightest, except for the man you married and the family he came from. You would still be bottom of the barrel, struggling to get any sort of attention in Hollywood. I mean, I think, again, my theory is most of her Suits money went to Sunshine Sachs to promote her up the wazoo because she didn't do the actual work to make people pay attention to her. She made her PR team do it. Again, it was a very lazy approach. And I think this is why we're seeing it continually backfire now because she's still doing it. She's still making her PR make up for her lack of work ethic, her lack of, I think original ideas and stuff. So yeah, it's just, so incredibly bad. So yes, she's an absolute farce and she doesn't really care about the human rights. Obviously, she hasn't done anything about the whole Baka situation in Congo with Harry's African safari parks, whatever it is, that scandal. She doesn't stand up for women in certain instances. Like she'll stand up for women on one side of the political aisle, but not another. I think to be a true feminist, I think you need to stand up for all women, not just some. Again, that's my personal opinion on the matter, but it's just, she's very narrow-minded and she's she thinks she's very deep again, and she's very philosophical and, she's got these great ideas, but she really doesn't. It's kind of funny because Meghan Markle reflects sort of Hollywood because I listen to these guys who talk about, let's say, the Rings of Power or something, and they're talking about how the dialogue is so incredibly bad, but they think it's so deep. It's like, oh, that's so Meghan. She thinks she's so deep when she's really, really shallow. And you can tell it when you really think about what she's saying. Because it might sound deep and interesting, talking about, Lily saw me in the reflection of my eyes. And so Lily saw me and her and me, or something like weird like that. And it's like, the child was probably being literal. There's probably nothing really deeper you can get from that. So you created this whole concoction of really nothing. But again, Meghan thinks she's super deep. So Jane says, good morning. Hi, Jane. I hope you are doing well. You've been a long time listener and subscriber. And we have Jessica Reed as well. Thank you so much for gifting 10 Royal News Network memberships. I hope you all really do love those and enjoy them. And I got a video coming. I did something for my trip, so I will share a little bit with that with you guys as well. So we have so many. We got water. We got, let's see. Asima says, would it kill Harry to crack a smile? You would wonder. Somebody posted on Twitter, I saw this morning, and it was this video, and Harry just looked so uncomfortable. Meghan's just smiling. And again, this is always a thing that's bugged me. And I understand to a certain extent that it's part of the performance. It's part of what people do, but she constantly smiles and then he doesn't. Or she's like just smiling so hard and he just looks miserable. And it's like, you guys are like this, kind of. You need to be more like this. Because when you're like this all the time, it comes across as fake. Because if he's frustrated down here and you're happy as a clam up here, either you guys are not on the same page at all or you're faking. Because I don't think Harry can fake that well. So I think it is somebody else. Hold on just a second. Guess who cannot fake herself, which is Miss Pippa. Miss Pippa. Okay, so let's pull and put the other keyboard right here so you can see him right there. Okay. We got Trisha here. We got Becky. Asma says, did anyone hear about Prince William being at the D-Day celebrations? Yeah, so Prince William, King Charles, and Queen Camilla will all be at the D-Day celebrations in Normandy. And so next year, I'm really hoping to spend a lot of time in Europe because it'll be around the 80th anniversary of the end of the war. And so I think that would be great to be there. Olympia here, Anne said, just catching up. So thank you. We got Patricia. All right. And we got Sheila and we got Sarah. Hi, Brittany. It wasn't a faux royal tour since members of the public were not invited. Further, there were some negative comments from members of the public. Titles lacks legitimacy without real power. Yes. And again, the whole point of a royal tour is to exert some soft diplomatic power, which Harry and Meghan don't have. And I just love the BBC talked to this one gentleman who said, he's like, this is such a waste of resources. We have people dying in the street and they're paying for Harry and Meghan. And it's like, yes, because if Catherine and William were coming, you might actually get something out of it. You might get a trade deal. You might get closer relations with the Brits. There's like a couple things you might actually get out of it. Harry and Meghan, you get nothing out of it. You get nothing out of it. And so they essentially wasted all this money because the Invictus Games is never going to come there. Some countries, rightly, that some defense departments would say to their soldiers, you can't go there to compete because it's too dangerous. Because again, they do have insurgency issues and those sorts of things that make it a big target. So I would be. All right. RD said, good morning, Brittany. You also look very nice today. I'm going to assume everyone else is looking good also. We are. Okay. Stop kissing me. Stop kissing me. Water said, many of Meghan's pictures from the Mimi tour, she looks so smug. I want to smack it off. Yeah. Anne said, careless and less waiting for Catherine to recover. Otherwise, no Harry and Meghan. Yes. And okay, I will say, guys, this is my theory. Take it for what you will. Is that I think the best, I think what could happen with trooping, not saying this is going to happen, just marking it as a possibility, is that Catherine may show up at the end of Trooping the Color for the fly past. That is my thought. It would be a great way to kind of, lovingly and very classily smacking the face of all those. And we know who they are, who constantly say, where's Kate? Oh, what happened to Kate? Oh, the video of Kate was faked. It would be a great way to kind of like gently, like kind of clap back at those people and go, here she is. She's right here. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Okay. So I think that could happen. I don't know though. We got Terry gifted 5 World News Network memberships. Yes, Pippa. Oh, isn't that exciting? Not exciting. We have Siva as well. So can we put a bug in the media's ear to pay Meghan Markle's cousin to do a D-Day? Well, yeah, we could. Honestly, to me, the number sounds more like maybe what her mother would get, not Meghan necessarily. And it's just I don't want to say it's wrong because I don't really know. But it just seems like an awful lot. So yeah, I don't know. Azuma says Beatrice was at the garden party last week. Oh, I didn't know. I didn't see her there. I didn't see. Yeah, she might have been. Good Morgan from sunny Netherlands. Good morning. Good morning. I have this app that's supposed to help teach me languages. I keep forgetting to look at it again because I was going to learn Dutch because I'm so annoyed because I listen to sometimes all these royal speeches and stuff and I don't understand them and it makes me sad because I want to understand And I don't know. Like, I wish I could learn all the languages of the royal crowds so I could learn and hear them directly. But no. Okay, hold on, Miss Pippa. No, no, no. I got to have my hand. All right, we have Disfan. Is it true, Catherine? William and Charles were behind the Sandringham Agreement that the Queen only agreed to, along with them. So I think that's probably partly true. I think towards the end, and this is just my theory, is that the Queen was, yes, frustrated and needed to obviously make decisions. But I think she was probably a little softer on Harry. I think William is the one who's been pushing kind of the harsher treatments in some ways. All right, let's get down, baby girl. And so I think they were behind it because they're the ones really at the end of the day. I mean, she was in her mid 90s. They were the ones who were going to have to live with it. And so they need to figure out what to do that they could live with. Because at the end of the day, they're the ones who are going to be really, really dealing with the fallout of everything. And we still are. And unfortunately, Charles needs to make the bigger decisions, and he doesn't seem to want to. And that, again, is a problem. And it would be really hard. But I think, again, it would be good to have this avenue to strip somebody of their titles, like Duke and Duchess, that you gave them on the promise or the agreement that they would be working royals. If they had just married and they weren't going to be working royals, they would not have gotten that dukedom. I don't believe so. And because of that, like, you need to have an avenue to strip from them, because you need to let people know in the future, dangle this thing going, you're either a part of this and you fall in line, or if you don't, it goes away. That needs to be the threat, because right now there is no threat. You need to have a threat there. And again, amend the letters of patent to say that any child with the prince or princess, you can leave all the rest the same. So Catherine and William's kids can all be princes and princesses of Catherine and William's children's children. So their grandkids can also be royals or prince and princesses as well. But say, what am I thinking? But say if, again, say you must be raised and educated in the UK for this to apply. And then Harry and Meghan have to make a choice, and you can make it retroactive because they're the only ones who aren't following that directive. So yeah, it's on them. And yeah, that sucks, but that's life. And so again, the decisions that they need to make. Okay. So Lady Aviator says, it was great to see William in the Apache. My colleagues work on the UK Apache program. I work in the Netherlands, and I'm always a bit jealous they get to see the same aircraft that William flew. That is so cool. So Azuma said that tan dress made me think she was naked. Yes. Again, this was Megan's whole thing was I am sexy tour. I think Water said, anyone else knows a lot of videos and posts popping up that many Nigerians were super pissed and insulted by Meghan Markle's attitude and dress. I haven't seen a ton of that. I've seen some of it come through. But again, I wouldn't be surprised. It's a fairly conservative country. Again, I've been to Africa. I was in Uganda, which is a different country, but strongly Christian. And I would not be wearing something skimpy. I just wouldn't. And here's the thing too. I think everything in moderation. You can have a cutout, you can have a slit, or you can have spaghetti straps. You can't have all three. Can't have all three if you're a royal. And again, I think Meghan Markle should be held to royal standards. As long as she continues to use and abuse that royal title, then she needs to be held to royal standards. Because that's a thing where you can't be both. You have to be one or the other. You can't be both. And so if you want this world, you have to live by that world's rules. It's just like any job. You have restrictions, regulations, those sorts of things. And yes, you may not like them, but that's part of working at that job. And so if Meghan Markle didn't want that job, then you get a different job, but you don't get the same perks as the first job. Like, this is just so basic. I have to explain it. Kind of annoys me. Berkshire Lady, good afternoon, Brittany and all from sunny and warm and sunny UK. Katie White says, good morning from steamy Florida, everyone. Summer is here and is flexing her muscles. Yeah, I imagine it's hot. So we got Suzanne. We got K Meta. Kansas City says, hello, 70 and sunny. Someone says, Harry's a licensed pilot. Apparently, allegedly. We've seen scant evidence of that. Pyong Yulong. Good morning from Huntington Beach, California. I hope I pronounced that correctly. We got Dawn. Good morning, Brittany and Pippa, watching from Darlington, South Carolina. We got Jenny, one of our members. Good morning from Atlanta. Sean Jules. Hi, and good morning from the Philippines. Brittany, have you seen Mary of Denmark, where the pearls here are? Yes. And again, we will have a video on it on the fashion channel. I'm so excited. So excited. So, because she looked, We should look it up here. Don't know if Getty Images has a picture. Because sometimes Getty Images is kind of inconsistent on when did they cover the foreign royals. And I put Queen Mary and I somehow got Camilla. They are not the same person. But she had a Queen Mary event or something. It is, yeah, it's kind of funny. Queen Mary, you put it into an editorial, and sometimes you get it's really funny. You get, oh, what do you get? Now you get the Queen Mary ship. So this is a better view a bit. I just go to Getty Images sometimes because it's maybe sometimes slightly easier to find things on here. So this isn't one of the best pictures, but in case y'all are curious, and she looks so glamorous. And again, I want to talk about like royal fashion when it comes to tours and stuff, because I think Mary looked spectacular in that particular tiara. And it's a Pearl Poirier tiara from Denmark. And she's wearing some of the pearls up there for the first time as queen, because obviously this belonged to the former queen. Queen Margrethe. And oh gosh, they pronounced her name interestingly when I was listening to it in the Swedish, and I liked it. Margareta, I think is kind of how they pronounced it. And they pronounced Madeline. Sounds so much prettier in Swedish. So just saying. So anyways, Queen Mary looking lovely. This lilac dress with some kind of chiffon like overlay. It looks great. I'm probably not saying the right fashion term, but that's fine. Liz E has a live stream started. It has, but according to the timestamp there, it was 10:01. I was slightly behind. All right, we have Maria. Hi from Sweden. Let's keep going. So happy. Water says, so happy to see Prince William, a true prince and royal. Yes. Baby Pip. Yes. She is sleeping now on the floor. Hello from Germany. Morning, Brittany. Good morning from Peggy Spungen. Says hello from sunny Michigan. Cheryl says, good morning, Brittany. My boys Goose and Vinny send their wolves to Miss Pippa. Squeaky the cat sends her best meow of indifference and is ready to be worshipped. Oh gosh, don't you love cats? Cats are so funny. We got Lulu here as well from Naples, Florida. We got Letha Johnson. Hi, Brittany from West Perth, Australia. What tiara do you want Queen Mary to wear next? Okay. So I'd love to see them host their first state visit, in Denmark, and her wearing the emerald tiara again. I think that would be awesome. And I would be really looking forward to that. But I think there's another one, and it's a floral tiara. And it's kind of interesting because it kind of can sort of wrap around the head. And I'm just curious how Mary will style that particular tiara, because I think it's part of the crown, like the court set, like part of the family foundation and not privately owned by Queen Margrethe. And so I'm really looking forward to her maybe wearing that one. So I think it would be interesting to see her. It'd also be interesting to see her wear some of the gold tiaras that Queen Margrethe was given, because one of them is golden poppies, and it was weird. And it was hard too because she had gray hair when she got it, and her teeth are pretty yellow from smoking, and so you got like the gold in her hair and the gold in the teeth got it matched in the tiara, so it's kind of. So anyways, we got Fire Elemental from Ohio. Catherine, good morning. We got Terry. We got Ritz. Allison says, I've just had the worst morning. So glad we have a live. I'm so sorry. So sorry. For sure. It says, good morning, Brittany and Miss Pippa. Kate says, I'm finally on time this week. Hi from Alabama. Hello. Sugar Cookie says, good morning, everyone. Good morning. We have Amelation. Good afternoon. We got Polly Pippa. You are so adorable. Why, thank you. She is adorable. She's really cute. Although I will say she gets very fierce when it comes to neighbors. So I had her outside on my front porch, and she saw a couple of neighbor dogs walk by, and she's barking as hard as she can. She's like so flummoxed, and she's like kind of bit my finger a bit. She's like so like excited and kind of like, protective and going, this is my house. And so anyways, she is very adorable, but she make no mistake, she can be a fierce little beans. Tracy McPherson, why do we have so many asthma posts? Well, she posts a lot of questions and people talk a lot. And so it just depends on, sometimes people are introducing, sometimes there's questions. So I kind of tried to blend as many things as I can. We got gift of gab as well. Yeah, allergies, or do you have a cold? Larger than normal amount of people seem to be getting sick at the moment in the US, Canada, and here in Australia. Me too. I'm so sorry. Yes, mine, I think it's allergies. Sometimes I'm fine. And sometimes every once in a while, it, like, totally knocks me on my behind. Sometimes, I know when it's coming if I, like when, Maverick, our family dog, he passed away recently. Like we had the whole like loving on him at the vet's office before they put him to sleep. And I just knew like as soon as I left, I was like sniffling more. My eyes were itchy because I'm technically allergic to dog dander. So Pippa is fine though, because she is hypoallergenic, believe it or not. But yeah, me, it's like allergies. And I was perfectly fine, but now I'm sniffly and so annoying. So I do apologize. We have Wanda, Jennifer, Jess, Armenta, Pippa, so sweet. Yes. And we got Becky. Did you get some new glasses, Allison? Aw, we got Cal from Cleveland. We got Liz E and Carrie. Hello from Tasmania, Australia, made alive. You should be very proud to be from Tasmania because Queen Mary is from Tasmania, who we just showed. So great. We have Helen. Hello from España. Hello, we have Julia from Tennessee. Dawn, you could look lovely today, Brittany. You always do. Give Pippa loving for me. I will. I will. Um, we have let's see. Water Elemental says, Pippa, my kitty Yuki says hi. She says hello too, and then she'd be very curious about the kitty and then maybe try to chase her or maybe run away. Isa Texas says, Prince William looks so regal in the blue beret. Eat your heart out, Harold. Yeah, he did look great. He did look great. Harry, like, there's just a part of me that really wants to tell him, dude, you need to figure out what to do with your hair because that hairstyle is no longer working for you, bud. It's really not. Because like sometimes too in some pictures he looks so bad. He's balding so much back here. He's hanging on to those little hairs up here, and it just doesn't look great. So I'm like, dude, you just kind of need to embrace this new, chapter in your life. I mean, I know you made fun of your brother for it, but guess what, buddy? You're there too now. So we have good morning from Vermont, Ritz, and the grifting just continues as long as there are enablers. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. And we got, again, Lou Ann, again, hello, watching from Saudi Arabia. We got Sugar Cookie, Fire Elemental, we're in Ohio. Yes. And Compass Rose, good morning from Maine, listening while I prepare a house for company. Well, I hope you have a good time. We have Kathy, Bebop, Noodle Rama, Margaret from Worcester, UK. Oh, are you getting ready for the Duke of Westminster's wedding? That should be in Worcester, right? Am I right? Or is Cheshire? I can't remember now. I want to say it was Worcester. Maybe it's Cheshire. I may be wrong. I got so excited there, and I apologize if I got you excited. Okay, we got Lizzie B. Hi, and we got Asimov. Only the Prince of Wales gets the title that Charles gave to Prince William. That title was never Harry's. Yes. So Prince of Wales is not an automatic title. It is a title that the monarch bestows on the heir if they feel it is appropriate. So Charles did it pretty much immediately, which was great. And so, yeah, that'll be the next thing. So Ashley says, Brittany, which country do you think Harry and Meghan are going to visit after Nigeria? That's a tough one because we know for sure they're going to Canada in January or February for the Victus Games. For the rest of the year, I don't know. Maybe somewhere in South America. Like, I don't like, but I mean, it's like, what's the point? What's the point? And I think it'll be interesting to see how other countries treat them from now on, because we've seen kind of what happened with Nigeria. And I think it would be pulling teeth to get a invitation for certain countries based just simply on how Meghan Markle dressed. They would have a tough time with that. And I don't think that would be that much interested because, I mean, again, the whole point of a royal visit is to essentially make money off the back of that royal visit, either by tourism or by trade deals or something with the UK, better relations with the UK. That is why you host a royal tour as a country. Harry and Meghan offer you none of that, except for maybe the tourism factor. So I could see a tourism, like, obsessed country maybe going along with it. But again, Nigeria may have spent up to $1 million on their security, maybe lodgings, maybe even some of their transportation. I don't think fashion, but some of those logistical stuff, yes. And they didn't get anything out of it. We know the Invictus Games aren't going to be hosted there. Like, it was silly and pointless. So Invictus Games, one of their teams could be the closest. But again, I don't think they'll. I mean, if you're a country, why would you roll out the carpet for Harry and Meghan? Like, why? Why? So yeah, that's the thing. So yeah, Rich says, yeah, that's that thing with the Spencers being all huggy with him was strange. Yeah, I agree. Don says, do you think Harry married a stalker? I do. I don't know if I would go that far, but somebody who definitely molded herself to attract him. Yes, 100%. Maggie says, good morning, Brittany and Miss Pippa. We got Rumble on. H is simply a prostitute for the Hollywood lifestyle now. The industry owns him. Yes. And the thing is, again, gosh, there's so many videos I need to do and I need to get back on it because the Crown Report kind of took a lot of my focus, which I'm like really excited about it. But anyways, Hollywood is going through like a severe contraction right now. Like there were a bunch of bombs last year, especially from Disney. There are going to be a bunch of bombs this year. They don't have any big things. They did a strike, like so many things. People are sort of sick of celebrities. And that's what I think too, that Harry and Meghan don't realize is that we're kind of sick of the celebrity nonsense, which Harry and Meghan have now attached themselves to. Royals have an element of dignity. Harry and Meghan don't. And so because of that, Harry and Meghan, like they just not again in a same situation. So, yeah, he's totally kind of part of that Hollywood system. But the thing is, the Hollywood system really doesn't care for them. At some point, too, you need to be successful. Like nepotism can get you pretty far in the industry. You either have to be extremely talented, really easy to work with, or like super beautiful for you to go really far on simple nepotism alone. And although Meghan Moore has that nepotism, not Harry. Their public profile, I think, kind of puts them into the nepotism category because the only reason they got that huge deal from Netflix is because of who his family is and no other reason. They would not give Harry Sussex, bloke who barely graduated college, spent some time in the military, doesn't really have, seemingly a ton of skills to offer, would give him a $100 million Netflix contract. Neither would they give a middling actress like Meghan Markle, who barely scrounged together a couple of roles, except for her one on Suits. Although I think she would have done better in the industry after the Suits resurgence rather than now, because now everybody knows who she is and she rubs a lot of people the wrong way. So, yeah. Water says, didn't Earl Spencer deny Diana when she asked to hide from the public? I think so. There's something like there's a lot of, again, like especially for the Earl Spencer right now, he didn't go to 2 of his daughter's weddings. And so there's definitely a separation between him and everyone. SEJ says, morning, what are the YouTube events? How does a YouTuber get invited? So these are the ones, so YouTube started, which you'll notice, and they're really pushing it, which is why I continue to include things. They started this shopping program so you can put affiliate links within the videos. And so if people purchase from that affiliate link within the video, I get a small percentage, and I'm sure YouTube probably gets a small percentage somewhere down the line. And obviously the company gets support as well. And the benefit of that is that it helps people. Like if I wanted to review something, especially on the fashion channel, like sharing that Ann Taylor dress that's a dupe for Catherine's polo dress, I can do that and I can show that and also get a little bit for, my efforts and everything you could say. And so they're really pushing the shopping. So they've started these shopping events. I'm kind of bummed I didn't go to the one last month because it was on makeup. Next one's a bit more general. This month it was on like home improvement and stuff. But it's a great way though to chat with other creators and get some ideas and different things and hear from people who are doing well or people who are doing what they're doing to kind of, change things up and everything. So I just think it's a fun opportunity to learn more. So that is why I went. And so, yeah, I don't know how you get invited, but I'm on the invite list. So I went last year for their holiday house one because they haven't even done this program a full year. And they gave us this gigantic goodie bag. It was huge, filled with clothes, makeup, hair products. Like I was like, I don't even know how I get this thing home. But it was pretty cool. We got a couple of stuff this time, but not quite as much. But it is just fun to get an opportunity to do that. And again, offer more things, especially on the fashion channel. I have another idea. I'm formulating in my mind. So maybe at some point, not this year, a couple of years maybe or something, I'll get that out there. But it's just kind of fun to hear different ideas and stuff and get different thoughts and everything. So especially more for the fashion channel, I actually get more invited. I get invited from the fashion channel side, not the main channel side, which is kind of funny because I think I sold technically more things on the main channel than the fashion one. I always try to, link, my shirt or my makeup or something. I'll link Anna Lucia as well, which I'm wearing today. But yeah. So Gift of Gab became a YouTube member. Why, thank you so much, Gift of Gab. I hope you enjoy it. Jennifer asked, did anyone else see the video of Meghan trying to block Harry in the pictures? I think I know the one you're talking about because I saw it this morning, and she's in the white dress and she's kind of like, she's smiling and she's kind of, and Harry just looks uncomfortable. The guy just cannot, again, he can't match her fake persona. And it's like, again, they look like this. And so they got to be here and they're always here. And so it's just, yeah. Lady Aver said, green is a great color on you, Brittany. Sorry, I'm not sure how you spell your name. That is correct. I am convinced that unless there's like another language, Brittany has the most spelling variations of any name ever. Yes, I'm like, I've seen Brittnee, Ney, 1 T, 2 T's, I's, E's, and like Y's, like everything in between. I'm like, it's crazy. Jenna says Harry and Meghan can't keep their stories straight. She says she loves Jeopardy and international relations, yet she was so inappropriate with her actions and outfits in Nigeria. Yes. Like what she says never matches up with what she does. And it's like super simple things. Again, like dressing diplomatically. Yes. Do you get to dress like however you want? No. But you know what? And this is what I'm going to put into that video. Queen Mary looked smashing during her tour. She looked amazing. She looked elegant, professional, gorgeous. And she didn't have to show off a ton of skin or, be super sexy in order to do it or flash a ton of jewelry. Like she did have her obviously huge jewelry, but she didn't have to be Meghan. I just find her so tacking in some ways because I feel like she just needs to flash so much. But at the end of the day, she loses something. She loses simple elegance, grace, and refinement that most royals have, I think, in her effort to she's trying to fake it and never making it. Harry never asked his father to stay at the castle or go to the church. He was trying to make his father look bad. Well, according to the Times, and again, the Times of London is one of the best publications in the UK. It's like the New York Times. And yes, the New York Times has its bent. Every place has its bent. But the Times of London, very good source. They have very good sources. Valentine Lowe, who wrote Courtiers, was part of was a member of the Times before he retired. Anyways, all that to say, the story was good. So I think he did ask. He was offered, but he didn't like what he was offered. And so he's like, no. And so royals are like, okay, you're on your own. And then he's like, well, do you want to come to? No, we have big people jobs. Charles has been out forever. And this was annoying me too. I was on Twitter and I probably spend way too much time on Twitter because it kind of puts me almost in a microcosm of rather than seeing the whole picture sometimes. But somebody was telling me that, Harry, like the rest of the royals don't support injured veterans because they didn't go to this Invictus service. And I'm like, no, it's not encompassing of all veterans, the Invictus Games. That is just patently false. If veterans want to be part of it, fantastic. Good for you. But it does not represent all veterans. It only represents a segment of veterans. And so to say, oh, it represents all veterans is totally and completely wrong. And to say the royals don't support veterans or injured veterans by not going is completely and utterly wrong because there are so many other veterans who are not part of it. I just hate that false narrative. Just so okay, so we have Tracy McPherson, Late Queen. Thank you so much for the tip. The Late Queen hosted many heads of state. It's soft diplomacy. I would imagine she didn't like some or perhaps all of them. We don't know. Yes, and that is the element of good. That's the element of good diplomacy. You don't know. She hosted everybody. She hosted Xi Jinping from China. You could say China is a competitor, perhaps a threat to the UK. I don't know. I don't think she's hosted Vladimir Putin. I don't think Putin ever went. But Xi Jinping obviously is a bit of a threat. And Xi Jinping is very close to Putin and obviously the Putin Ukrainian and all that safe. But she did it anyways. That's the element of a good queen. Rich says, I saw the story about the California Attorney General is running against Newsom for governor, and that may have been why he pulled this down. Not sure if it's true. That could be. I haven't particularly looked because Newsom was apparently thinking of running for president against Biden or something. I think he had to finally drop out. But anyways, Noodle Rama says, Duke and Duchess of Delinquency. Yes. Valdina says, hey, Brittany, I wanted to give you Terry a shout out for me if you can. She was one of the sweet enough to give a free R&M membership, and I know she would buy 5 free memberships each live. Yes, that is so sweet. Thank you so much, Terry. And for all those who get free memberships, it's so amazing and sweet that people do that. Jenna says, even if Meghan can wear those outfits on the beach, and no self-respecting diplomat in any country will wear those outfits in a professional engagement. No, they would not. Not like even any professional. Would I wear a cutout dress with spaghetti straps and a slit up the front? Probably not. Like, I just can't see myself doing that. And yes, sometimes people wear things I'm like in professional settings. But the thing is too, is like you were within that royal sphere, you should know well enough to know like what looks good and what doesn't, and what is appropriate and what is not. And again, she just strikes me as somebody who's kind of emotionally immature, and you can almost see her thinking, well, I can wear this as a royal, but guess what? I'm not a working royal anymore, so I'm going to wear X. Even though she did technically wear a super inappropriate outfit in, I want to say it was Fiji when they were there, the spaghetti strap dress with the slit up her thigh, almost reaching her bum. I'm like, that was so not appropriate. So not appropriate. So Melly, I've also heard that he never got in touch at full stop. I mean, I'm sure he might have, but yeah. Interesting. Good morning from Melbourne, Australia. Sion says, superb show, Brittany. Always so intelligent, articulate, thought-provoking, great presentation. Why, thank you. Gretchen says, morning from cloudy Massachusetts. Time to make coffee. I need coffee. Isaac Texas says, Gavin Newsom projects his donors made a fool of him in the process. Such as Netflix and Paramount. Yes. Yeah, it was just so silly. I can't believe he did that. I was like, are you serious now, bud? Water says, I hope the Mimi fake tour woke up King Charles to do something, or to push Princess Anne, Prince William, to tell him he needs to act. Stop now. Stop. Oh, goodness. He needs this to stop. Act now. Yes. And it's not going to get any better. This is just going to get worse. I've said that from the beginning, because she does not care. She does not care. And Harry's too weak to tell her no. So she's just going to roll over everything. And so they just got to figure out what to do. All right. Civil Defense UK, thank you so much for the tip. Over 1,600 watching, only 361 thumbs up. Smash that thumbs up, folks. Why, thank you. Why, thank you. So yes. So Trisha says, what in the world is there to like about the Dreadful Duo? No, there's not a ton. And I get why Meghan appeals to some people, but I once you know more, because I think part of it is just simple ignorance. Like, some people just don't know how royals function. And so they see her and they go, well, she's saying this and this seems right. I'm like, why aren't they doing X? Like, I was talking to the crowd in California, and I was telling them, they're like, somebody said they had met some people in Copenhagen. They didn't really like Meghan. And they mentioned, that she was kind of modern and shut her car door. I was like, no, that's not really the issue. That's more of perhaps the security issue for her to do that. The real issue was, sometimes she would push ahead of Harry to greet people. That is 1,000% against royal protocol. 1,000%. You see this reflected in every single royal tour. The blood royal goes first. The married-ins stand and walk behind. They are perfectly okay doing that, because that is that world. Meghan, for example, going up and greeting the King of Morocco before Harry. Massive faux pas. I cannot even understate how massive faux pas that was diplomatically. You do not do that. She is not there to cozy up to these world leaders. She is there to support her husband. That is the sole reason she's there. She's not there to promote herself. She's not there to get her moment in the limelight. She is there to support Harry and nothing else. That is the role that a spouse functions within the royal family. If she couldn't do that, don't marry Harry. And I'm sure this was explained to her. I'm sure this was told to her. And I'm sure she just was like, but I don't want to do it. I still want to marry Harry, but I'm not going to do this. And it's like, you can't do that. You have to do things a certain way, because that's how the system functions. And so, yeah, it's just very annoying, because it's people misconstrue that and stuff. It's like, well, people keep asking, well, why don't the royals wait on their spouse to come down? Like, some royals do, but sometimes it's not appropriate. Dia says, did you see King Charles' official portrait? It's awful. It looks like a murder scene. He deserves a better portrait with gardens in the background. Yeah, it's not my favorite, but I don't like most modern art. So didn't really like Catherine's portrait that they made of her. I thought, yeah, I didn't like that one. I don't like a lot of them. Artistry used to be better in a lot of ways. So, Bebop says the lemon sours are very quiet after the 3-day vacay blowback. I don't know about that. I've heard, uh, Twitter is a microcosm of things, so you hear a lot from the Sussex Squad on Twitter. But yeah, I looked at a couple I didn't see so far today where they had mentioned the whole debacle with the fraudster guy, so they may be avoiding that. But yeah, it's just not going, like, this is not working. And just a reminder, it's been over 9 or 10 weeks since we've had anything from American Riviera Orchard. It looks terrible. It looks absolutely terrible. Kathy said, why are so many talking heads in the news support them? It blows my mind. It's just why. Yeah, I don't get it. Oh man, and Cameron, was it Cameron? I can't remember his last name now. Who is that? I think he's at GBN News. Goes, yeah, Prince William went to the Fleming Institute or gave a talk on behalf of the Fleming Institute on microbial, issues related to, people being too medicated with antibiotics to the point where they're resistant to antibiotics. And he goes, he was being used as the government's tool of soft diplomacy. And I'm like, what do you think royals do, Cameron? That is all they do. That is the entire point. Is soft diplomacy. Like, why do you don't understand? Oh my goodness. Sugar Cookie says this royal tour did nothing more than give us more memes and content. The lemon rats, I can't fix this one. No. Again, their own actions always sink them. Wendy says, good morning. Good morning. So we have Asma says, what has Meghan earned on her own without marrying somebody? Not a ton. Or paying up the wazoo for PR. That's the other way. Cat Wilma says Prince Harry's medal is only successfully completing a tour overseas. It's called a campaign medal. That's all. Harry never flew in combat, only on Xbox. Yeah, I mean, I don't want to go like too solid on it, but yeah, I've never really been somebody who's like believes Harry was super involved, as much involved in combat as he wants us to believe. So we have Pepper Jean says, on a bright note, how dreamy was Prince William in a uniform piloting Apache helicopter? He's always so handsome. Yes, thank you so much, Pepper Jean. And yeah, he looked great. Prince William did. He definitely, I'm sure, flew that Apache and looked great doing it. And I'm sure Harry was a bit miffed about that. So it's one of those things where he missed out and William, I think, was the superior pilot. And so Harry had this one time though, because he was like, I think he mentioned in his book or somewhere how proud he was that he had achieved something his brother hadn't. And then his brother also went to Sandhurst. So Harry very much has a chip on his shoulder. And Prince Laurent of Belgium, they came out with an article in Daily Mail about him. And he's kind of in the same boat, got a massive chip on his shoulder for not being the heir. And yes, I get it. It's hard to be like so close and yet so far away from the throne. But at some point, you need to be an adult and grow up. I'm sorry, that's it. You can't change it. It is what it is. And you know what? People, I think, who are most successful in life accept the limitations of their life. We all have limits in some form or another. We all have limits. And in I think living a good life means accepting those limits and sometimes living within those limits. Yes, you can surpass them. Yes, you can change things and those sorts of things. But sometimes, like, there are hard things that you can't change. And one of the hard things you can't really change is who is in the line of succession to the throne. You can't change that. So all you can do is learn to live with your place in line of succession. And Harry and Laurent apparently can't do that. Sorry, my eyes itch. So we have Shaz, and I think you're bringing up a question I want to talk about. Brittany, do you think Masson Harriman set up the tour for Harry and Meghan like he did Save the Children? That I don't know about. But what I did think was interesting is I looked through Masson Harriman's pictures, at least some of them. What I noticed in particular is that the one in focus nearly every time the two of them are there is Meghan. Meghan's the one in focus. And he is not a press photographer. He is more of an artist photographer, you could say, or a editorial photographer or something. Because here's the difference again. I'm like spoiling my upcoming video, so please still watch that video and the Crown Report too. But anyways, although I'm still I still think the Crown Report I've recorded recently wasn't as good as I wanted it to be. But anyways, when royals travel, of course they have photographers that come with them, but they are press photographers. They are there to document the event. Masan Harriman is there as like a fashion photographer to get, the emotional moments of the tour, which is not what a photographer on a real tour is supposed to do. He's not there to they're not there to get the artist pictures. They're there to document the event. And so they share pictures that are just normal pictures that the other press would get. Sometimes they have greater access to certain things, so they get a different picture. But I think it's just so incredibly telling that Meghan needs to bring Son Harriman to document this trip, because it's like all about Meghan and all about, again, the flash of the event, not of the substance. If you really care about the substance of the event, why do you need a fashion photographer to come with you, or an editorial photographer, a guy who does like pictures of celebrities? Bring just a normal photographer who's there just to get the pictures of different events, not somebody who's there to concoct pictures. That's kind of what I think too. Like the picture of Harry meeting the soldier or whatever. It seems more composed than it does natural. So anyways, I don't know if he set up the meeting. He probably did. He might have. Yeah. So Cal says, so we've been told that they're going to do more of these royal, non-royal vacation tours. What's your take? Terrible idea. Nobody should fall for this BS, because any country, you will waste potentially $1 million and get nothing. Royal tours, you might pay $1 million, but you might get a benefit, and you'll get a benefit at some point. Harry and Meghan, you get nothing because they have nothing. Like they're literally asking countries to do like what a movie studio would pay for a tour. Like it's just silly. It's absolutely silly for anybody to engage with this. It's just silly. Trisha says snipers never tell how many people they had to kill while in service of their country. Probably not. I think I've heard that a bit more from them, but yeah, no, not saying that anybody has to, but at least in snipers, I would somewhat get it. Harry in a helicopter, don't get it. Okay. MK says, why do you think some people simply don't see this through the smoke and mirrors of Harry and Meghan? Lack of substance is glaring to most of us. So I will say, and this is my personal opinion. Obviously, other people can have different ones. But I notice that Meghan Markle is not very emotionally intelligent in some ways, or very emotionally immature. Most of her fans are too. They strike me, especially some of the activity they get up to on social media, strikes me as very middle school level in terms of what they're doing. They can't argue the argument, so they attack you personally. It's like, are you in middle school? Because, that's what middle school bullies do. Like in middle school. So she attracts those kind of people. She also tends to attract those who, as I've noticed, were on, you could say, the BLM kick and those sorts of things. So she attracts that crowd as well, who thinks because she is Black, she can do no wrong. I don't like, because I think anybody is capable of anything. I don't think your skin color denotes any, like, says you're immune from certain behavior or not. I just think that's a terrible, terrible, terrible guideline, because it allows, I think, people to be abusive, because you think, well, the guy in the wheelchair, he can't be an awful person, but he might actually be an awful person. Just because he's in a wheelchair doesn't mean he's perfect. Same kind of thing. And so I think it's some of that. Sometimes I think it's just ignorance. They see somebody pretty and they don't really know how royalty works. And so they just go by what she says. They know nothing deeper. And so they just go by what she says. And when I mean like the middle school level, I mean like the ardent fans. That's who I'm talking about. Not everyone, but like the hardcore Harry and Meghan crowd generally strike me in middle school. That's just my opinion. Middle school, maybe high school. But yeah, some of it's like the BLM thing is like, would you support or care about Meghan if she wasn't Black? It's an interesting question to ask. So, because, skin color doesn't matter to me whatsoever. The critiques come from understanding how royals work and how she basically tries to disrupt all of that, and just has total disrespect for the monarchy as an institution. That's kind of what I look at. So yeah, I hope that helps. Wendy says, what is your favorite castle in Scotland? So it's been so long since I've been to Scotland. Obviously, Edinburgh Castle is awesome. It's at the top of the hill. Oh, Stirling Castle looked really cool too, from what I could see from the bus. We went down to Rosslyn Chapel, which was really big around the time of the Da Vinci Code and everything. And then down to Hadrian's Wall. But I could see Stirling Castle out in the background. It looked really cool on top of the hill, and it was covered in like fog, so it looked awesome. And but Elon Dorn that we are going to visit, super picturesque. It's on the water. It looks amazing. And just wanted to mention to people, technically, the trip doesn't close for about another week. And so if anybody's still interested in coming on the Scotland tour, there are still spots available. I thought it had closed, but my girl I work with on Trova Trip goes, oh yeah, you still have more time. And I was like, oh, because I had stopped kind of promoting it. So if anybody's still interested, we still have some spots. It would be awesome to have you with us because it'll be so fun. We are going to so much of Scotland. Oh, and the Ulork Castle on Loch Ness, pretty cool too. Pronouncing that wrong, I'm sure. The castle starts with a U though. Ucourt or something. But it's very, very pretty country. And there's just so many castles and cathedrals. Sometimes cathedrals are more fun. So Marjorie says, hi from London. We can only hope that she's now found her motherland and they can please go back and permanently live there. Give us all peace from the silliness and total cringeworthy awfulness. Yeah, because like kind of the thing is that she's promoting it so much. It's like, it's my motherland. It's like, well, why don't you just live there? And it's like, well, it's fun too when her fans go, well, she's a princess now. She's a Nigerian princess. I was like, well, she like dropped the British titles. Why doesn't she drop the British titles then? I was like, oh, because those are the ones that were to say it but that way, but that's kind of true. Ilana says, good morning, Brittany from Woodstock, Ontario. Enjoying you live while I brush my horse. Well, good riding this afternoon if you're going riding, and give your horse a little pat for me. Dia says, Meghan Markle gives tributes to Diana and Queen Elizabeth with jewelry and naming a little bit Diana, but she never attributes anything to Doria. Your thoughts on why? Yes, she always I mean, I don't want to say too much and speculate too much because I don't really know anything about their relationship. I don't really think they're all that close. And here's the thing, Harry and Meghan cling to Diana because they're clinging to that fervent Diana crowd. Not every Diana fan, of course, is a fan of Harry and Meghan, but there are certain segments as like, I've seen this a couple of times now where it's like, well, you didn't live through the Diana years. You don't know what Meghan experienced. I'm like, Meghan didn't experience what Diana experienced, so I don't know what you're talking about. Totally different world when Harry and Meghan came in. So she's obsessed with Diana, and again wants to be seen as a Diana-like figure. That's kind of, I think, what she's leaning for. Kyle says, I fractured my back this week. Oh, do you think Harry and Meghan will send me a basketball? Well, I hope they do. I'm so sorry that it's never fun when you're hurt. You break something. It hurts. Hi, baby. Alternative says, I'm definitely winning with my ARO joke. 30 videos are so just for fun. Come on, Meghan. Yeah. Like you could create a whole alternative thing and make a lot of like fun of it. Has anyone seen the McDonald's new unhappy meal? I believe Harry and Meghan are the inspiration. That's hysterical. I have not seen that. No. Great. Somebody again wants to make her presence known. So Wildcat Wilma says it was registration fees and paperwork according to reports that had been taken care of. It didn't mean the California governor, still can't audit Archwell. He doesn't work directly with the government. Yeah, it was still just silly. Azimus, is any merchandise from RNN for people in Europe? Not yet. I need to look at other alternatives because what I have isn't working, but I will, I think, try to bring some of the shirts. I still have some shirts that I need to sell, but I'm kind of holding off too. I need to figure out what I need to do for taxes and everything. Because there's a certain amount of shirts you can sell and not have to pay taxes, or certain merchandise you can sell and not pay taxes. So I want to try to increase that this year, but I also need to get some ducks in a row and everything. Hi, Hi, baby girl. Hi. Okay. We have Letitia Di Tommaso became a YouTube member. Why, thank you so much, Letitia. I really do appreciate it. Hope you enjoy it. And this is interesting. Jess said your voice is common across a very high piercing but understandable volume set low. Yeah. This is supposed to give it a warm sound, but everybody has different things. So it's just so hard. What happened to spare paperback? It was never mentioned by the media, probably because they can't sell all the hardbacks. They printed a ton of those. So Harry probably got money for all the hardbacks printed, but they've never printed a paperback because they don't really have any time to. Do you want to speak to Miss Pippa? Say woof woof. You want to see? Do you see it? Do you see it? No, you keep kissing me. Jenna from DC says, not a royal tour yet. She was there inspecting the troops. He loves that people are confused. They play God Save the King for him. Yeah, it is very confusing. Very confusing. Very, very confusing. Brit says, Queen Mary in the pearl and diamond tiara and the lavender gown was beyond stunning. She was. She was. Girl. Noodle Rama says, this whole Nigerian tour felt like a giant middle finger to the royal family. It did. It did. Very childish middle finger, by the way. Tracy says, what is the next expected overseas trip from the British royal family? Probably in October for the Commonwealth. So that may be the next time we see. Charles wants to go to Australia. I think the Commonwealth Conference or something is being held there. That would be awesome. Because I think the other thing that is problematic is that because of the illnesses, which they can't control, the royal family can't control them. But unfortunately, what that also means is that it gives Harry and Meghan sort of free reign, unfortunately. Tommy says, Brittany, you can contact another YouTuber, a creator named Recovery Addict, does true crime, is a sound engineer and is willing to help anyone that reaches out. Oh, I'll have to remember that because I just am so confused. So confused. I don't get it. Because I feel like something's a lemon and I don't know what's the lemon. Because I had no problems when I used my little Rode tiny microphones, which aren't as good of quality, but somehow I used this thing just like quadruple the price and somehow we got issues. Okay. All right. She's got eye boogies. Yeah, don't ya? Okay, let's see. And we got KENOK, which I would guess is Norwegian Crohn's. Why, thank you so much. You are so kind. The problem with Meghan is that she thinks she's the best at being an American. Her ideas are best. She can do whatever she wants. She thinks the monarchy is like Hollywood movies, like Direct in Norway. Yes, you got your own very similar Meghan Markle situation there somewhat in Norway. And thankfully, they've kind of tried to separate themselves a bit. But yeah, he is definitely a little problematic. And yeah, he very much sees it as Hollywood. And it's not that. It's not that. It's something very, very different. And once you understand the roles and protocols and everything, it all makes sense. And again, we all live, no matter who you are, what sort of job you have, we all live under some sort of protocol or things that we have to do. Like we all live somewhat like that. And so this idea that Meghan thinks she can just disregard all of it, I think it's just so offensive. Oh, yes. And Pippa clicked off your comment because she decided she wanted to take a tour around the desk. You have Lexi Reynolds. Thank you so much for the tip this morning and the super sticker. I do appreciate it. Belinda says Meghan met with head of the World Trade, didn't they? They might have. Was that at the UN? UN. I don't know. Lucy says, yeah, I agree. The longevity of the monarchy outweighs the feelings of the king. Charles needs to draw a line. Yes. And I think it would be good, again, for the overall monarchy, especially as times change, as the number of people working for the crown continues to diminish and roles are constantly changed. It is a good threat to have over someone. If you step out of line, if you don't do what you're supposed to do, you might lose something pretty critical to you, which is the title that you crave so dearly. Terry says, has the Invictus Games Foundation even acknowledged Harry's trip to Nigeria? The whole trip seemed unethical from so many standpoints. They did finally, but it was at the end of the trip, like after it was basically all done, which I thought was super weird. If the goal of the trip is to promote the Invictus Games and the Nigeria being there for the Invictus Games, why would you not send an Invictus Games social media person to cover the event? It seems a little weird. Why did they wait till the end? Again, there's a part of me that feels like this was not totally going rogue, but kind of going rogue a bit. So Cinnamon says Nigeria tourism boost. Are you crazy? LOL. But that's the only thing they could do. Like that's the only benefit to Nigeria is potentially getting a tourism bump. Without the tourism bump, like they ain't gonna host the games. I'm so sorry. If you're Nigerian, no offense to you, but like the logistics, the potential threats and stuff, it's just something that it's just gonna be done. Oh my goodness. Yeah, and I guess have we had an Olympics on the African continent yet? I don't think so. I don't know where, like South Africa maybe has the infrastructure. I just don't think Nigeria has the infrastructure or, the ability to keep a bunch of, again, Western troops. Because again, it's not just Nigeria in the north because you have Boko Haram, but you have other insurgency groups up there in the north of Africa. And if you have a bunch of Western soldiers and veterans and Western diplomats that come down for these games, and it's drivable distance and the border is porous, that's a big target. So Letitia gifted 1 Royal News Network membership. That is so kind, Letitia. Thank you. And we have Marsha. Thank you so much for the tip. Harry is still the 12-year-old resentful that he had to walk behind his mother's casket. And I don't blame them at all. Like their mother's death was, I'm sure, unbelievably traumatic in many ways. I totally understand that. But at the same time, too, he has to stop using it as a crutch because a lot of people have experienced trauma and loss. He's not the only one, but he seems to think his loss is graver than just about anything else in existence. And it's not. A lot of people have gone through far worse, far worse. And so he needs to, I think, have a reality check here. And I don't think he's getting it quite yet. And he's just becoming just kind of, yeah, he's kind of just rubbing everyone the wrong way. So, Brother Brian Clan says the craziness of Governor Newsom supporting Archibald gives me so much embarrassment living here in California. Yeah, it is kind of embarrassing. It's like, seriously, like, he basically threw his state under the bus for 2 people, 2 private individuals who offer nothing to the state. And he goes, oh, Archibald's a celebrated organization. I'm like, by who? Give me an example, please. By who? So, anyways. Kelly says, green is your color. You look beautiful. Why, thank you. Why, thank you. I was just like, I got a couple of stuff from Ann Taylor. And so I just decided I was like, I'll put this on today. Not participating, just observing. Who is a participating? I kind of love that question, Brittany. Good morning to you and all. What's the status of ARO? Does it mean she pulled the plug? No idea, but it's sort of dead. Like, again, we've had these ridiculous, pathetic social media posts about it from her friends, quote unquote. Some of the worst things I've ever seen. Just boring and dull. And I think too, for me, one of the big things is that, where was I going with that? I was thinking of something. It'll come to me maybe in a minute. It's been 9 weeks now. She has nothing. And there was a blind item, and I'm not a person who really believes much of the blind items, but it said already that her show, they filmed part of it. She comes across as really fake and contrived, and it's already not working. And I'm like, and that doesn't surprise me in the slightest. Now, I don't know if that's true or not. Just saying, I don't know if that's true. But at the same time, it is just like, she's so fake and contrived because she's so obsessed with the Instagram image. She's so obsessed with that. And right now, authenticity sells, not Instagram perfection, authenticity. She's like 10 years behind the curve. She's 10 years behind it. We don't want that Instagram perfection anymore. We generally don't. We want authenticity. And she is so behind the curve on that. It's pretty crazy. Kathy and Newton says, the squatties are saying William is not a pilot and here he is. Said William was just pretending. I saw the helicopter take off with William in the pilot seat. Are they blind? Yes. And they're ignorant. Obviously, William was a helicopter pilot for years, still is. He flew. Last time we saw him we know he flew, was to take Charlotte and himself to an event with Catherine. He got out of the pilot seat. He was co-pilot or pilot. And he flew an air ambulance for many years, so he knows how to fly. And helicopters are sort of his specialty. So, yeah. Anyways. Asma says the British press couldn't, as they were told, too short notice as they need time to obtain visas. That kind of makes sense. Thanks, Phasma. But People Magazine, oh boy, they were... Oh boy, were they told. And the thing is, with People Magazine is basically a PR mouthpiece for the celebrities. There's not really a ton of journalism that goes on with people, so they won't tell the bad stories. They only tell the good stories. They only tell the stories that the PR teams of the celebrities want them to tell. So we would not get any negative storylines from Harry and Meghan's visit from them. Scott said, "Thank you for your insights and information on the royal family." Well, you are so welcome. You are so welcome. Water says, "Odd question for something I hope never happens. What if William and Charles go and George isn't old enough to take the throne?" There would be somebody put in as regent. I think that would be the title. And probably be Catherine. It might have to be a blood royal. In that case, it would probably be Anne. She would be the best one. Maybe Edward, not Andrew. I'm sure there are contingencies in place if that were to happen. Thankfully, he is going to be 11 this year, so he's getting older and older, and hopefully nothing ever happens. Gina says, "Good morning, Brittany. Vegas is on board. Woohoo! Do you think ARO is dead in the water already?" Kind of, sort of, yeah. I think it is. And again, it was so incredibly dumb to launch a program like this with no plan. Like, and I will say, I feel like I'm failing miserably with the Crown Report, and I'm really frustrated with myself because I feel like it's not going well. And I'm like, it takes so long. I miss things. Well, this week was kind of rushed too. So I may just, I may finish it. Maybe I'll just make it. I don't know what I'll do with it. Maybe I'll just put a link or something. I don't know. Anyways, very frustrated. I'm personally very frustrated. But it's like, I'm only me. If I travel, I get so disrupted because it's only me. I'm the only person, but I got to, watch social media, and I got to watch a particular account and report posts and all these sorts of things. And all that takes away from all the other things. So I do need a bit of like support. And I got, I think my sister's going to help me this summer, and I got a couple other things. So hopefully I can sort of kind of get someone doing at least part of that stuff. So I don't have to do it anymore. I'm so tired of doing it. So tired. Of not doing as well as I should, but that's kind of what I meant. But Meghan has like the whole team. She has like the dream team. How could she fail so badly with so many people? I don't understand. I would kill to have that kind of team. Figuratively, but yeah, so much I could accomplish, especially if I didn't have to edit. Because sometimes I don't record videos because I know I have to edit them, which is like kind of counterintuitive. But it's like, I don't want to edit because it takes a while, and I have to listen to myself. And I've gotten a lot better at that, but still, it's hard. So Margaret says, "Jessica Reed, thank you for the gifted membership," which is so sweet. Sugar Cookie says, "But wait, at 11, she changed a major company's position on dish detergent. And she can't let us forget her father's lie about it." No, it's so bad. That story just, oh my gosh, this story is so bad. Butterbugs Baked Good says, "Pippa, yes, she made her appearance." Trying to see where she was. I think she's sleeping in this room somewhere. William, he hates being the spare to William, and now he is to Mimi. Yes, he's exchanged one heir for another, you could say. Margaret says, "Miss Pippa, Miss Pepper, gorgeous dog." She is so sweet. She's very cute, very cute. Audra says, "How do I register or sign up to possibly be running for the gifted membership?" I think there's some sort of, if you Google it, I think there's some sort of setting you need to turn on. So Bill Rama says, "Brittany, did you ever see an email from signing up for the ARO newsletter?" No. That's the other thing. Why was there a welcome email? Why wasn't there a welcome email? There should have been a simple welcome email. "Thank you for signing up. We will be in touch in the next couple of months on upcoming products," or whatever. Nothing. So she's gaining all these emails and has like nothing. It's like, so bad. It's so bad. Alice says, "Good afternoon from Norway, recovering from our National Day yesterday. Did you see our royal family on the balcony in Oslo?" I did. They looked so amazing. Ingrid Alexander, who I think is so pretty. She looked lovely in her traditional dress and in her military uniform because she's doing a year in the military, and everybody looked great. And I thought it was funny. I got to tell you this. So, Meghan Magnus. I can never remember how to pronounce his name, so you'll have to forgive me. But Magnus, who obviously graduated secondary school this year, was walking with his class in the parade. And so for National Day. And so I guess there is a cute video of his family seeing him and waving really enthusiastically at him, which is adorable. They finally spotted him. But also, I was on Instagram and there was a post about it from the Norwegian royal family. And I do a translate because I ask it to translate. And it told me he is with his litter. They translated like school class as litter, like a litter of dogs. I thought that was hysterical. Like, I love those little like funny things. So I thought that was kind of funny, but looked amazing. I'm really hoping next year to maybe spend again like April to June in Europe. There's so many events like National Day in Sweden, Norway. We got a lot of events going on in that time period. Trooping the Color, Royal Ascot, so many things. If I could do it too, Miss Pippa would come with me. She'd be an official doggy and make her contributions on the. I think it would just be funny if my dog, did number twos on 2 continents. I think that would be kind of funny. But we'll see how that goes, because that's obviously a long time. But I just think it would be great. There's so many things that go on during those months. So Bella Raindrop says, "Aw, thank you so much for the tip. Jam scam latest. You look so pretty today, Brittany." Why, thank you. Yeah, it's still kind of because again, it's so dumb because everybody was talking about jam. Now, guess what? Nobody's talking about jam. And guess what? When people were talking about jam, other people were making money off jam and not Meghan. It's not how you run a business. Like, if she was not Meghan Markle and she went on Shark Tank, they would eviscerate her for such incompetence. Because what you don't want to do is get everybody talking about a product and not deliver on a product. Why would you do that? Kristen M said, "So sorry you are tired, but we appreciate all you do." Why, thank you. I'm pretty good, but it's just like I have a tough time keeping myself organized sometimes. And it's just very like I get mad at myself that I don't reach the goals I want to reach. Isa Texas says, "Brittany, Masan Harriman's late father was an elite chief in Nigeria. Funny how that weaves into Meghan's narrative, don't you think?" Yep, kind of, sort of. Bebop says, "Miss Pippa in the house." She is, although I don't know where she is now. Maybe she left. Maybe she did. Sugar Cookie says, "If the Prince and Princess of Wales were there, Catherine would not be pulling him away when somebody's trying to talk to him, unlike the dastardly duo." Yes, she would. She's very respectful. And again, it's to me, at the end of the day, it's about respect for your husband, his role, his world. Meghan showed zero respect for any of that. Zero respect. Kate says, "My Yorkie is like that too, Brittany. He's always trying to get in my lap and lick my face." Yeah, she likes to. And she can get right up in you sometimes. She kind of gets you in certain ways. And I'm like, oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Hi, Brittany. Not participating, just observing. If these two royals were respected, they would be invited to the Cannes Film Festival. Yes, I keep waiting to see if Charlotte Katsaragi or Beatrice Borromeo ends up at the Cannes, because they usually do. And so I'm hoping they do. But not yet, because Beatrice always looks great in Dior. Tracy says, "Miss Pippa is beautiful. I love my own boy, but at 65 kilos or nearly 150 pounds, he's not a lap dog. Don't love him any less." Ooh, that is huge. That is huge. That is absolutely massive. I did totally miss it. Cutie Pie, I'm so sorry. You sent a super chat here. I thought I got to it. Harry said that he knew his relevancy had a short shelf life once George was born. Can you do a video about how the Wales' kids will be their demise? Will beat their demise. So yeah, I think so. Again, so sorry, but yes, I think the Wales' kids will do fine. I think too. This is my theory. I think the worst combination for real kids is having two boys. I think that's probably the worst sibling combination, because the boys will always, you have that natural sibling competition already. They're the same sex and they're boys, which I think makes them more competitive in some ways. Girls are a bit different. And so I think that's probably about the worst combination you could have. and you add in Diana and everything there and the collapse of the marriage and stuff, you just kind of have a recipe for a disaster. It's really amazing that William turned out as well adjusted as he has. I've heard he can be angry sometimes. He may have a bit of anger issues. But here's the thing too, Charles had them as well. It's interesting reading the book on courtiers with Valentine Lowe. And Valentine Lowe said basically that Charles would have, outbursts of anger from time to time, but he would always be very apologetic about it. He would always 5 minutes later, 10 minutes later, maybe the next day go, "Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. I just, having a bad day, whatever." Like he'd be very reconciliatory about it. And so it's something where you could kind of deal with that going, okay, they're just having a moment. He'll come, he'll apologize, he'll recognize faults and stuff. That's what normal adults do. I think what Harry and Meghan did, which was so different, is that Harry and Meghan would get mad and then would never apologize because they haven't apologized for anything. They haven't apologized for anything. And I'm so sorry, but you guys contributed to this mess too. This is not just on the royals. This is on everybody. So you need to take some accountability. So, but all that to say, I think when it comes to George, Charlotte, and Louis, I think having Charlotte as a spare is a really good thing because almost in some ways, George could be more jealous of Charlotte than the other way around because royal watching tends to lean more female. Women follow the other women more. And so there may be more focus on Charlotte at some points than George until George marries. When George is a bachelor, oh boy, there will be so much focus on George because everybody wants the most eligible bachelor in the world, which he will be at some point, which is kind of like a scary proposition in a way to be the most eligible bachelor in the world. But I think when it comes again to royal sibling dynamics, I think it's best to have 3, which Catherine and William have, because that way 2 of the spares can be together. That way 2 people can be the spare rather than just one. I think it's harder when it's just one because then it's well, I kind of missed out. But then you can kind of have this dynamic if you're 2 spares. Again, not foolproof because obviously Andrew was problematic and he was a spare, but he was also the favorite child. So you had that favoritism. Again, all this stuff with family dynamics is complicated, but I think George, Charlotte, and Louis have a much better shot. I think they're being raised very, very well because I think the big thing is, and I don't know if all royal families necessarily get here, but the big thing is that, as children created in the image of God, all the kids have equal worth as human beings. But when it comes to the monarchy system, George is technically more important. So I think the real trick as parents is making sure your children all understand their value, again, as people created in the image of God, but also understand that there is this system. George is going to be the future king of England. You guys will have different roles, and having and raising your children to see values in those different roles. That's the trick. The trick is to not kind of where we've heard about Diana kind of propping Harry up to be kind of the co-king in some ways, like good King Harry, or allegedly she used to call him. That props up himself, but also gives him a false impression that he is the same as his brother, which he is not. He is going to be different. The trick is, again, helping the royals who are growing up understand that, yes, they have this particular role, but it's different. And you got to accept those differences. And there's beauty in both sides here. I think that's the trick. That's my 2 cents. So yes, again, sorry for missing. That's not what I intend. Now I got to think, did I miss any others? No, I don't think so. Okay. So let's keep going. Oh, teacher Ray, Samantha watching from the Philippines. Hello. Betty Gosnell says, I know you follow primarily European roles. What do you think about the wedding in Brunei? I didn't follow it too much. I think it was, it's very, they're very over the top because it is Brunei. But it looked beautiful from what I can remember of it. I can't quite remember enough to be honest. I think she wore a self-portrait dress at one point, which was cute. Marcia says, George, Charlotte, and Louis are all well-grounded. I think Charlotte and Louis will have little difficulty finding their own way in life. Yes, and again, it comes from, I think, the parents instilling values of, your life, but also values in the monarchy system and showing them you can have sometimes greater influence in certain ways by following these particular pathways. And I think that's a goal that can be easily achieved. I think Sweden has a pretty good balance. I will say some of it comes from the fact that the king generally prefers his son, wishes his son was heir instead of Victoria. He's very complimentary of Victoria, but he has mentioned the fact that his son was stripped of his crown prince role numerous times over the years. So I think it generally does actually bug him. And so because of that, I think his son is sort of in this role, but his son doesn't overstep really either. And Madeline went to the United States. She found out, yeah, I don't want to be a part of this rigmarole. Now she has to move back to Sweden to secure her children's places in the line of succession and stuff like that. So I think that is something that is, you have to do sometimes. But I think overall, Sylvia says, I'm deep in South Texas. Every year, Mexico goes through burning agriculture. String of south winds affect the air quality. It's been worse this year, and I've had congestion for weeks, ending soon. I'm so sorry. Hope it gets better soon. I was watching a video this morning, don't know how it came up, about the storm in Houston. There was like a tornado in like downtown Houston or something crazy like that. It is crazy. I was in a storm once. It was on the East Coast. It was many years ago. And I was working in a place, came off sort of late at night. And I was driving and I went to Target and I came out of Target and you could tell like immediately, like the wind had picked up so much. And I'm like, the heck is going on? And as I was driving home, like the wind kept picking up and up and up and ended up being like this massive storm that knocked out power for like a couple of days. And it was like 110 degrees. It was awful, but it was probably one of the craziest things I've experienced. Sally Ann Loveday says, Harry's ginger candy floss atop his bounce is awful. Shave it off and crop it short. Hi, Brittany from Wales. Yes. I think at this point, Harry just got to accept he don't have much on top anymore and just kind of move on. Just move on. It's fine. John Alvarez says, where are those invisible little ones? They are always at home, apparently. And again, my thing is, and I explained to this before, and I just want to say it again. If Harry and Meghan want their kids to be private, 100% do that. A lot of celebrities are able to do that pretty effectively. Where you kind of ruin it is constantly talking about your kids because you're not really giving them the privacy because you're talking about them and you don't really need to talk about them. And honestly, as well, guys, I can't really even see them as parents because I never see them with their kids. So it's hard for them to say something, well, as a parent, but I was like, I never see you as a parent, so I can't see you as a parent. That's just a reality of PR. Good PR means you show, not tell. Harry and Meghan constantly tell and not show. You can't do it that way. You have to show it. Otherwise, it doesn't really exist, in my opinion. So Peggy says, a great live, Brittany. Do we know who all the 50 Jam recipients were? I wonder if she gave one to Taylor Swift. That would be funny. Because Taylor Swift, yeah, I mean, I thought, except for Meghan's like closer friends and Chrissy Teigen, who I think is just kind of desperate to kind of reinvent herself after kind of she got called out for being a bully online, allegedly. I say allegedly for legal reasons, not for that I don't believe it. But overall, to say, even like Kris Jenner, you could say was one of the more prominent recipients, kind of did sort of just a lame story. Depending on who got it, I don't think they care. Because you think about it, guys, it's one single jar of jam. One single jar of jam. Nothing unique or interesting about it. Again, it's just like so simple. When it comes to marketing, you need to give the people the why. Why do you watch X and not Y? Why do you purchase Y and not X? Like, you need to give people a why. There is no why. There's no, which is so dumb because it's such a product you can get anywhere. So Gifted Gab says, Royal News Network, no need to apologize. Glad you're fine. May is supposed to be the worst month for pollen and allergies in the U.S. Feel better soon. Why, thank you. It's just funny because sometimes I'm like perfectly fine and I just don't want to take something every day. But then it kicks me in the behind every once in a while. And I'm like, wait, what? Debbie says, and Harry never strived for anything in his life. Think about it. He has never had to pass a test on his own, work hard, put forth any effort. Can you imagine him doing anything? No. And I mean, I think it's pretty clear he's not really doing anything in their new life really much. And so it kind of shows. So, yeah. Let's see. Sheriff in Tennessee says, About the faux royal tours, if they had inserted Archwell as an NGO to get access to U.S. government aid in Nigeria, they could have used this model for other countries, and Harry funnels money to corrupt officials. Yeah, I mean, unfortunately, to be quite honest, guys, this is an interesting thing when it comes to Elon Musk, because some people ask him, well, you have so much money, why don't you end world poverty? And he's like, they spend like billions of dollars per year with, what's it, food aid? Food aid, I think it is the program. Feel like that's wrong. But they spend billions of dollars on this program. And guess what? It ain't alleviated. It hasn't alleviated hunger in the slightest in many ways. Why is that? Well, because so much of the, NGO funds, even from our own government, go to corrupt officials. So Harry would just be following a long honored tradition. Because at this point, I support foreign aid 100%, but at the same time too, a lot of it is wasted. A lot of it is wasted. I mean, I can't think of, I wonder if someplace like South Sudan, I wonder how many millions or billions are pumped into that country and it's still in the Stone Age, essentially. There's also like Afghanistan. We spent billions in Afghanistan and the Taliban's still ruling it. So like, did we achieve anything? I don't know. Because the aid didn't really work. So there's ways where aid works and a lot of ways aid doesn't. Miranda says, Brittany, you look very pretty in green. Why, thank you. Hi from Gold Coast, Australia. Why, thank you. The Rich says, when she had red Coco Cabana dress on, the other lady slammed her over and over again for the nonsense she spewed. Priceless. Yeah, there was like a written piece on that, but I haven't seen the actual video. But yeah, I thought that dress was terrible. She didn't have the right undergarments for it. It looked bad. It wasn't flattering on her. Like, she has weirdly broad shoulders. So like me, I have weirdly, so, I'm overweight, 100%, totally on that. But I have kind of like I have like smaller proportions. So I'm not real wide up top. So my trouble is sometimes wider on the bottom. So my trouble is sometimes I get something that might fit around my waist, but not, or like around my thighs, but not something that fits on my upper body, because my upper body is kind of tiny in a way. What was I saying about that? So Meghan, though, has the opposite problem. I think her body up top is broader, because even there was a picture of her, and it was like from a polo event or like a picnic or something. I was like, oh my gosh, her back looks massive, and it's not massive in terms of like fat or something. It was just like wide. It was just super wide. And so I'm like, wow, I didn't realize she was so wide that way. So I think she's wide that way. And I think the spaghetti straps kind of emphasize that in a bad way. That's all to say that. Cal says, Brittany, what about the weird video of Harry grabbing another man's nipples? That's a little odd. Not a surprise for Harry, but yeah, a little odd for sure. Sorry, my eye is just all of a sudden really bugging me. Robin says, being real isn't about look at me. It's about highlighting people in the charity that you are there for. Yes. And the other thing is, and Prince Philip said this, and it's so true. It's like, they're not there for you. They're there because of the title, the institution you're attached to. And I think that is the way you have to look at royalty. You have to look at it as if it is something that is, people are there for the title that you hold, not you individually. And Meghan just never understood that. Never understood that. So Margaret says, Brittany, you don't even have to be a member of the royal circle to know how to dress appropriately, and nothing she wears is appropriate. Yes. Yeah. I mean, you can just, look at the people she was surrounded with. None of them were dressed like her. None of them were dressed like her. So it really makes her stand out in a bad way. And you want to stand out, though, in a good way. And again, like, you just have to look at real fashion and see the elegance to it. And yes, guess what? The necklines don't go down your bust, and there's not really generally high slits and stuff like that. But they look good. They looked a lot better than you did. So I think there's something to it. And, she is, and I mentioned this in the members only live stream. It's like somebody was telling me, well, Meghan's a young woman. I was like, she's not a young woman. She's in her mid-40s for Pete's sake. And so, yeah. So Jenna says, Brittany, do you believe Meghan gets commission from her outfit? She was given the scarf to wear during one of the Invictus events that she took it off right away because it was covering her, the dress. Didn't match the dress. Yes, 100%. I really think the Heidi Merrick, she might have a deal with them. I think they were local based to her too, and Joanna Ortiz maybe as well. Because here's the thing that happened with, and I talked about this in my fashion video, and I think this is really, really tacky. I understand from a capitalism perspective, yeah, sure, but from like just a dignity perspective, I just think it's really, really tacky. So Heidi Merrick, the dress Meghan wore, the blush dress, they decided to remake that, after she wore it, quote unquote. They put it in pre-order, but it's like, but they had to know she was going to wear it. And they're going to charge you double every other dress for that, more than double. All their dresses are less than $600. They're going to charge you $1,350 for that dress. That's highway robbery. That's terrible. That's awful. It's so incredibly tacky. Oh, it's so tacky. So, gosh, to me, that just screams like merching, all sorts of different things. All sorts of different things. It's terrible. And Sammy says, didn't Messon have a Paramount badge? Maybe, I don't know. Rich says, jealousy is so destructive. Both of them are consumed by it, but cannot blame anyone else for it. So sad. Yes, they are full of jealousy for a variety of different issues. So, yeah, it's been very interesting. Very interesting. So let's see. Do you think they're going to homeschool him? Meaning Archie? Probably not. Because I can't see Meghan have the patience for something like that. I think she enjoys her kids when they're doing what she wants them to do, and she's not really all that interested in once they if they have kind of very stereotypical of a narcissist as a parent. Water says she's a popular mean girl from high school who thinks everyone loves her, but even her friends don't like her. It's very true. It's very true. And again, I just get so much. Yeah, it's so much similarities to like high school, middle school level stuff with some of the Sussex Squad. That's just what it strikes me as. Charleston Tracy says Meghan is manipulative. She is a communal narcissist, a type of grandiose narcissist. Yes, that would be true. That would be true. I think so. Jenna says the Princess Angela of Liechtenstein was actually an accomplished fashion designer and seemed loved by her countrymen. She's also seems to value real privacy. Yes, because I have a hard time finding a picture of her that's not really, really old. Yeah. So Jody says, lived through the Diana years. Harry is tarnishing his mother's legacy. Yes. Claudina says, Stirling Castle is gorgeous. It looked beautiful from what I could see of it. I could see it. Oh, Kalia says, I lived through the Diana years. We're the same age. I think Diana would have loathed Megs. I agree with that. I think she would have loathed Meghan. I think they would have gotten along like water and oil. They would have not have gotten along. Because I think, and to a certain extent, Diana wasn't far from a perfect person in many ways. And I think she had a decent amount of issues. She would hate somebody who would take the attention away from her in some ways. So she wouldn't like that aspect of Meghan. And I think she would see the worst parts of herself in Meghan. And I think that's what she wouldn't like too. Hello from Costa Rica. We got Carla. Do you think the crown let Harry do whatever he wants because of the fear of the consequences, because of the law issues, or because they don't see an importance to care about it? I think some of it is Charles, again, wants to give Harry a route back if ever he needs it. But again, he should really think about new things and like what the future holds. So, yeah. A Fire Elemental says, sweet Pippa. She really missed you. She did. I was worried because sometimes, guys, kid you not, one time she gave me the super, super like behind, like, treatment to me because we had boarded them for like a day, like maybe a day, maybe a little more. And, it was so funny because she so loved and enjoyed it. She so loathed it. And we picked them up and we went to I think it was a Panera or something, got a breakfast sandwich. And Miss Pippa literally went over and sat in my sister's lap. My sister has her own dog. So her own dog was with me because Pippa kicked her out of her own mom's lap to go hang out with my sister, because we had boarded them and she hated it. So I had to bribe her with the egg for my breakfast sandwich. That's the lesson there. My dog was like, "Hey, nope, 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 mom." Hers says your dog is getting more positive attention than Megan. Yeah, because my dog's cute. My dog's cute. Calla says hardcover is 50% off now. Makes sense. Makes sense. So, not participating, just observing says, "Hi, Brittany. Question, please. How can Megan go from one failed project, Lemonada and Arrow, and not feel ashamed?" I don't know, because I would feel like you would feel ashamed after a while. But definitely the industry is aware of the failures. I think the industry is well aware of the failures. Letitia says, "You are beautiful in the emerald top." Why, thank you. Why, thank you. So Wildcat Wilma says donations from Netflix. So now Netflix is supporting their trips to meet wanted fugitives. If true, the government should return any donation from Netflix. And seriously, why are people going to watch their Netflix stuff? That's what I want to know. That's what I want to know. Seriously. Pippa says, "I'm looking forward to the German documentary. That could be really interesting. That could be really interesting." So Sugar Cookie says that Rachel had a very privileged life because of her father and thinks the world still revolves around her. Yes. Yes. So Calla says, Hollywood doesn't have a religious or spiritual aspect. Megs can't understand what that's about. Yes. It drives me nuts because I feel like she uses like Christianity as a prop, which I just kind of despise. And so it's like, if you're just going to go the new agey route and not really care about the Christian faith, then just do that. Because the Christian faith and new agey route are not compatible. They're not. I know some people think they are. They're not, though. You really read the Bible, they are not. And so I always found that kind of offensive about her. Like, after she got baptized, all of a sudden she wore once and then one other time a cross bracelet. And I was like, you don't care. You you did like Judaism conversion for your first husband. So you changed like religions as you change boyfriends. That just shows me a lack of consistency. So it's like, if you change something about your life, yeah, that does happen, but she seems to change it in order to secure the man, and I find that offensive. Lexi says, "How much is a trip to Scotland? I'm driving up to Nova Scotia where they speak more Gaelic there than in Scotland." Oh, that's awesome. So yeah, it's around 5,000 something. It ended up just being really expensive because of the time period and everything we're going, which is kind of, like one of the best times, the middle of July. But that also means it was just a little bit more expensive. I kind of wish I'd maybe done a different time, but it is what it is. And I'm so excited that we're going. And if you miss it, we do have the Germany, Czech Republic Christmas market trip, which still has a while, I think, to fulfill. But if you were interested in that, feel free to check it out, check out your leave time and stuff, because that one is going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be so fun. We are going to go to try to do as many additional things as we can. We're going to Berlin, Dresden, and Czech Republic. So Berlin, Dresden got hit really hard in World War II. And from the bombing campaigns, Prague did not. So it's just going to be really fun. I want to go to the green room. I want to see the green vault so bad, and the green diamond of Dresden. We are going to see that. Going to make it happen. Jenny said, "Hi, Brittany. Greetings from Italy." Greetings. Babette says, "Is there a time release for the German documentary?" No, I'm not aware of when it'll come out. Not aware of when it'll come out. Bebop says, "Who reads People magazine?" Not that many anymore, let me tell you. I used to read, again, People, Us Weekly, and In Touch. Don't read any of them anymore. Maggie Raynor says, "You can't cover everything, but you can choose a theme." Yes, I covered some things this week, and I may have to cover a couple things I missed from last week for the Crown Report, because I do think they're fun. I may again have to make them smaller, because I was thinking filling about an hour, but goodness. Stephanie says, "How could she fail with a dream team, Brittany? Because unlike you, she doesn't have any talent and no original ideas." That's, I think, kind of the crux of the matter. Kind of the great fault here is that she doesn't really have an original idea. So, creative Chaosify asked, "Do you think Thomas Markle will leave a tell-all book or a book to be released after he passes? I think Meghan will publicly accuse him of various things when she can no longer reply." He might. I'm not as sure I believe all the Markle's side versus Meghan and everything. I think they're all kind of birds of a feather, to be quite honest. But yeah, it'd be interesting to see. But yeah, I think definitely the way she's portrayed her life in many ways is just not true. So Carazos of Mexico says, I like so many of the outfits of Meghan, and she's not royal, so I think she can use them. Also, I don't like that there is so much criticism around how much skin women can show. Well, again, it's not if you're like regular celebrities, do whatever you want. I always say I think showing more skin is tacky, showing less skin is a bit more classy. I think that is true overall. And that is my personal opinion, and people can disagree with that. But here's the thing is that Meghan claims a royal title. And because she claims a royal title and she doesn't seem to want to drop it, and she seems to constantly be trying to emulate royalty, then she's going to be held to those standards. If she is just trying to be Megan Sussex, being an actress in Hollywood, working producer, something, then yeah, I think the things will loosen up. But she was literally there representing herself, by extension, though, Charles too, because she uses the title the Duchess of Sussex and they constantly treat them as celebrities. Ergo, they will be held to those standards. They will be held to higher standards because that is what they are asking for, essentially. Now, I will also say that if you see, though, other royals and how they dress, they show sometimes a little bit of skin, but it is very, very classy. They always look elegant most often times. So I think you can be classy and sexy at the same time, but without going too far. And I always think just Meghan went a bit too far. So that is my personal opinion. And I don't really make any apologies for that because I always think appropriate is so much better than inappropriate. And that I think you can be more classy than tacky most of the time. So that is my thoughts there. Kathy says, I like ARO was a knee jerk response to what was happening at the moment was never really anything so foolish and childish. Yes. Oh my gosh. So, Butterbugs Baked Goods says, oh, Brittany, as a one woman show myself, I totally get what you were saying. So many things and so many ideas to read and so little time. Stay strong. Why, thank you. Why, thank you. Yes. I feel like there needs to be like 16 hours in a day. There needs to be like 16 hours in a day. Allison says, oh my goodness, you're still live. Yay. We're going to wrap up here in a second, guys. I'm just trying to get to some of the end of the comments. I always feel bad I don't get to every comment and question. Jojo says, getting angry occasionally over things is not the same as having anger issues. Yes. Yes. And that is true. That is true. That is true. Azuma says you can't really predict what gender your baby is. I think this was in the conversation regarding royals and royal siblings and stuff. That's so true, but that's why I think always if you can have 3, that is the magic number because you have 2 spares then, and the 2 spares can support each other. And I don't think we have a family now with 3 boys and just boys because in Belgium, there's Prince Laurent and he does have a sister. And I think she's older because that's Princess Astrid. I think there's only 3 kids in the family. We have 3 girls in the Netherlands, Amalia, Alexia, and Ariane. Alexia, I think, will be a bit more the wild child. She's a middle child. And so I think that's yeah, but I mean, I just think there's certain sibling dynamics that I think facilitate better realness over like better dynamics when it comes to air and spare than others. I think 2 boys, only 2 boys is not the best recipe. But that's personally me. Rich says, I wish Princess Anne could remove the titles. Yeah, Princess Anne, she's a goat, man. She is a goat. I think she's going to be great. Princess Victoria is going to be a fabulous queen. She is. Wildcat Wilma says, I think it was only the Crown who claimed that Arch Andrew was the favorite. We don't know if it's true. I think Catherine and William are doing a good job. Yes, but I've heard the Andrew thing for a while now. So I think it's true. My understanding is that he was sort of the favorite. I think he came about during the time after like I think the Royals' marriage went through a bit of a rough patch after the queen became queen. And so he was the firstborn after that. So I think he was sort of babied. So anyways. Belinda says, it makes me laugh her jam didn't have a label. It had a sticker. Real classy. Yeah, there's a couple of ways to do that that's a bit better. So, Butterbean Queen says, most people didn't acknowledge her jam. They did not. They did not. So let's go ahead and let's see if there's anything else here at the end. Jill says they should be hiding in humiliation, which is kind of funny, but I can understand why they're not. All right, guys. Emil says that Princess Charlotte has this very strong aura. She does. She, I think, will be an amazing spare. Adopt GDX says, last night when I couldn't sleep, I went on X, big mistake, and saw a lot of Where's Catherine nonsense again. So true. And I thought I was picking on a different one. But yeah, it's just so sad that it continues to go on. But Rich says the Dutch princesses have the most beautiful strawberry blonde hair. They do. So guys, we will go ahead and wrap this up. As Water said here real quick, if this shows, have a great weekend, RNM fam and Brittany. So yes, have a great weekend all. I hope you guys have a wonderful Saturday and Sunday. We will do this next week, of course, same time. And I shall see you guys again soon. Have a wonderful day. Talk to you later. Bye. Miss Pippa says bye too.